mic because we need a little more banjo.
Saying the resolution is not optimal.
Yeah, it always says that. Here, play banjo a little bit. Cool. Sounds awesome, I think.
You think?
I mean, it sounds good for me in here, and I don't know whether we got 4 concurrent viewers already. Let's get over to the. Oh, actually, we should. Oh, live chat is not working here, so let's open it up over here.
Hi, whoever's here.
Yeah, what's up, y'all?
We are seat of the pantsing it as usual, even though
Yep.
I'm not wearing pants, so it's really makes it tough.
Yeah. And we better mute this so that it doesn't do some insane
hey,
feedback. Boop. Yeah, what's up, Mick? Mick Beer in the house.
Nice.
Yeah.
You at work, Mick? Anything else we need to do?
I guess you got your shakers handy? Yeah, you do. Okay.
Yeah.
I think we're good to go. Just make sure I'm in tune.
Do we want to do Dink song and...
Yeah, why don't we do dinks, warm up those banjo pickers a little bit, and then...
So, welcome to our second attempt, or maybe this is even the third attempt at doing a current event related live stream in which we share some songs by African American songwriters or influences such as a gospel song. Hey girl, it's Lauren. Hi.
Oh, what's up?
Senorita Awesome.
Yeah.
How you doing? And so we have some, African American songwriters, a gospel song, and then we've got a couple of originals that talk about
Kind of the current issues. Yeah, inspired by... One of them is one that song that's about 10 years old now that I realized recently. We haven't played it for years, and I was like, you know what? Like, the song just didn't blow my skirts up like it used to. But then, with everything that's happening in the world lately, it really, this song came up again. And then, so I redid the verses and updated it to fit the times, and now it feels like it's actually done. So, 10 years in the making. We're not playing that one yet, though, but we'll talk about it in a minute.
I'm real prepared over here, but so we're gonna be playing a song. The first song is called Dink Song, and I'm going to tell you why it's called Dink Song. I'm not good at remembering facts and dates and things like that, so whenever I try to talk about the song, I'm like, it's,
I know.
you know.
Johnny, like, I'm not very good either, but I'm good at just, like, improvising and throwing in random facts and dates and with authority so that it sounds true. Like, yes, in 1917. I have no idea what year it was.
So, Dink Song, which we're about to play, also known as Fairly Well, is a American folk song, was by John Lomax. Recorded this as an African American woman called Dink. Washed her husband's clothes in a tent camp of migratory levee builders on the bank of the greater Calhoun Bayou River, a few miles from Houston, Texas. So Dink is the one that wrote this song.
Yeah. She was, I think the Lomaxes, was John Lomax, you said? And Alan Lomax, I think, was either his son or his father, but it was the Lomax team, father and son, who did this project where they went all around the U.S. Did it say what year that was?
1909.
Yeah, 1909. So beginning of the 1900s, they went all over the place recording all the folk music they could. And so they went and met these levee workers, and they're like, "Hey, who's the best singer around here, or songwriter?" And they're like, "Oh, Dink." She's like, go hit up Dink. And then so they went and talked to her, and got this song.
I don't know if we listened to the original recording of it.
No, I don't think I ever.
We need to do that.
Yeah, we need to. It probably sounds completely different from this one. This one is kind of based on the version that Marcus Mumford and what's his face, Oscar Isaacson sang for the soundtrack of Inside Llewyn Davis. It's probably the nearest version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this concert is to honor African American music and how it's influenced our music and so much of American music.
Yeah. This song we actually recorded on our last album, our Chickadee album.
Bob.
Oh, what's up? Bob loves that one. I think.
Yeah, I think that's...
I think that was one of his favorites, but I might...
No, I think it is.
Okay, cool.
Oh, and your mom says we look beautimous. Beautimous.
Beautimous, I like that.
Aw, thanks, Melissa.
Yep. Cool.
Man.
Well, I'm glad you're watching, Mama, because Oh, and how's it sound right now?
Yeah, can you hear our vocals and our instruments clearly and
Yeah, you hear the banjo.
all that good stuff?
Yeah. It's one thing I could do. It would take a second, but I could set up another mic for the banjo specifically so that we could really get that featured.
Oh, I see. For Believe.
Yeah. Because, yeah, I could do
or
that.
I can just sit. Why don't I just sit closer to
Yeah, scooch in.
this and
yeah, and I already adjusted it. Oh yeah, there we go.
Like do that.
Yeah, or I mean, yeah, kind of like turn it so it's there we go. Yeah, because I sing.
Thanks, guys. Nick says it sounds very clear. Best sound yet. Oh,
I
was trying to point it at the banjo.
I know it goes on that side.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm gonna just be doing some banjo soloing, so
yeah,
I'm gonna
this is
just
Jonathan's fanciest
close.
banjo part yet. It's like, I know, she shakes her head.
It's frustrating because we've not practiced the song enough, and anyway.
Yeah,
that's all right. So, yeah, you want to tell them about Believe?
This is a song I originally wrote back in 2011, I think, the summer of 2011, when, well, you know, it's not totally important what originally inspired the song, but there was a murder in Brattleboro in my hometown.
I thought you said it wasn't important.
Not completely important. I'm not going to go into the whole, don't interrupt. Not going to go into all the details, but there was a murder. It got me thinking about violence and about hate and about all these things that, like, you know, the eternal struggles of humanity where we're always friggin', you know, killing each other and hurting each other and making trouble when there doesn't need to be. And then so the central theme and message was just looking at other people and being able to see ourselves in them and having compassion. And so there was this mix of, you know, the kind of dark stuff that was happening and things I was reading about at the time. And, well, fast forward now, we played the song for a few years with the original lyrics, and then I just was we were kind of over it because people didn't know what we were singing about anymore because it was very specific about events that happened in Brattleboro in 2011. So we stopped playing it for a while, but then it still never went away. And, you know, it was always in the back of our heads of like, you know, it's a good song. It's just, why isn't it? Like, why don't we want to play it anymore? And then recently, with everything that's been going on, the pandemic, Black Lives Matter, and all the division and discord that's been happening as a result of all of those, then it just, it came into my head again, the song, and then had new inspiration to write new verses that were inspired by the events that are happening right now, but then also I feel is more universal, really, and so is a song that now we can take forward and keep. The message is gonna just be something like, I want to play this song every time we play anywhere now. So, and we added Jonathan's banjo part, which is friggin' awesome. So there's that too. So we'll call this Believe 2020, I guess, the updated version. Anything I missed?
No, it's just the reason for the song is really sad.
Yeah.
I think that's why it's hard to do stuff like this, because when I think about what's going on and what's been going on, it makes me really sad, and I can't speak, and I can't be articulate about it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of suffering that's been happening, and I feel really sad about it and really want to be a part of positive change.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to do that yet, but...
Besides the music.
Right. Music is one way, and talking about it is another way, and yeah, it's just, I don't know if any of you guys have had this experience, but it's like, even talking about it, like, I didn't think that caring about other people's suffering and wanting to be a part of the solution would cause there to be hatred directed towards me. And I'm not complaining, because Black people have had it so much worse, so I'm not saying that, but I just, it's just amazing, like, some of the conversations I've had and the anger that's been directed towards me just for saying, I care, Black Lives Matter to me, I care about what's going on, and I want to be a part of the solution. And it's just really sad, like, that people can be, like, it's, to me, it's not political, so, like, why are people getting angry at each other about this? Like, why can't we just be like, wow, this stuff is fucked up. I'm really glad that I now am learning more about it, you know, we're educating ourselves about it. But it just, it never occurred to me, like, why would somebody be angry at me or hateful towards me for wanting to educate myself about it and to speak up about it and say, I care. So, sorry to derail, but...
Yeah, that's cool, though, but let's lean aside so they can see the signs behind us.
Oh,
yeah, so we played at the, we did the same set we got invited to play at this local rally downtown, Unity Rally, and we went and listened to some speakers, and then we marched around the block, and you see that "You Are Loved" sign back there. Like, that was my sign. Jonathan's is more, a little more profound than mine. Take your seat at the table of transformation and healing. And,
well, that's a mantra from Dharma teacher Larry Ward, who is awesome, and
total badass.
I wanted to, share.
Yeah. Yeah. But we...
Thank you, Lauren. You're right.
Oh. But
You're right, yep.
Oh. What did she say?
Lauren says, keep speaking up. Using your privilege and platform to name the BS is how you're a part of the solution.
Yeah.
Call it out every chance you get.
Thanks,
Hell
Lauren.
yeah.
Yeah. But but I was carrying that "You Are Loved" sign. You know how I'm just like,
yeah,
all right.
We were carrying these two signs at the rally.
Yeah, and then some young guy it's just kind of amazing to see how people react, because we were walking down the street. I'm carrying the "You Are Loved" sign, and some guy in a pickup truck, giving pickup truck drivers a bad name. Some young, white kind of blue collar looking dude. And it was interesting because he was driving by, he saw us walking, and then he saw me look at him, and it was only when he noticed that I was looking at him that he made eye contact with me, gave me the finger, and then said, "No, they don't," out his window. He just assumed, he didn't even read the sign, he just assumed it said Black Lives Matter, and then he's just like, "No, they don't," and then slammed on the gas and drove away. But it was this weird moment of where he didn't even look at what we were saying.
Yeah, he didn't even read our signs.
And B, it was he didn't actually feel the need to be a dick until he knew that I noticed he was there. But it was I don't think he would have even done anything or protested our march if he hadn't seen me.
We were towards the back of the line, though, so I think
That's
he
true.
was just seeing...
Oh, true.
Yeah, seeing the signs, and then we were kind of the last folks, and he finally came up with this incredibly clever response.
Yeah. But just the fact... But it was just interesting, because it wasn't until I made eye contact with him that he gave me the finger and slammed on the gas, and it was he had to say something and then get out of there as fast as he could. But it was almost this weird thing of where, in that moment, I saw it's how much of this is just his self-identity, of he identifies as this conservative, blue collar, working man or whatever, and then I don't know, and it's he lives in the middle of Idaho where by and large everyone is white. And so it was this weird thing of where I don't know if he has any reason to be, he acts racist, but then he's got no frame of reference besides his own whatever's in his head,
Besides looking at the news.
Yeah, besides the Fox News.
Incredibly wonderful president. Deep sarcasm there.
Anyway.
But anyway, not to...
Yeah, it's just weird.
Devolve. No, it is very It's bizarre. Mick
Yeah.
says, I think sometimes people think they're more important than they actually are when everyone's actually equal. People need a target for their own insecurities. Yeah.
Wise words, Mick.
Yeah,
I think that's right on.
Just that makes me think of I'm not going to name names, but just a difficult conversation I had in which I felt attacked for being at this rally. But what the sense I got from the people who were attacking was that they felt attacked and they felt defensive, and they're trying to like I was saying, I'm like, I don't have an issue in admitting that it might be different for people who aren't white. Like, their experience of living in this country might be different. I don't feel threatened by acknowledging like their experience is different. It sounds like it's a much more difficult, and I'm fine to educate myself about it and to support them and see if I can do something to help. Yeah. That doesn't upset me. That doesn't it's upsetting that it's even an issue that we have to deal with and talk about. That part is upsetting, but I don't feel defensive about it, because it's like, if you see somebody falls over and gets hurt, then you just go and you give them a hand. And, you don't need to feel defensive because you didn't fall over. Do you need anything? Or, did I leave something in the way that you tripped on? Let me move it. Something, so I was just like, I don't understand this defensiveness and this, like, I guess it's white fragility. I'm just learning about this stuff. Anyways, but I did want you to, now that I'm done crying all over the place, some people think that the earth is still flat. It's true. I did want you to just say some of the lyrics before we played it and just talk about that, because
which lyrics in particular were you thinking of? The choruses, or
maybe just like the first
I could just recite the whole thing. Today another son became a martyr under the knee of a sworn protector, and the spark has set the whole world afire. And tomorrow we lose another son or daughter. Now a flower lives and dies in a season, and not one of us has any honest reason to accelerate a fate that is sealed. There's nothing in this world that gone.
Oh, well, just that.
Yeah.
What the verse is about.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, it was in a way, like, that's I guess the fun of songwriting, of where I was talking about George Floyd, but then in a way of where it can be, it's really representative of police brutality and the injustice of the system in general, and whether it's the literal knee or the figurative knee of a sworn protector. And so there's all that, and then it set that event, and the dialogue around it has set both, everyone on all parts of the spectrum are all very fired up about it. But then the thing that's sad to me is that to me it seems like this dialogue, it needs to happen. The dialogue needs to happen. But then what's upsetting and really sad is that as a result of this dialogue, there are people on both sides of, the issue, who are all sides of the issue, who are acting out in violence. And that there's, it's like, okay, George Floyd died, and then in the weeks following, now there's been all these other deaths at the hands of police, of protesters. And now there's Antifa people, like, using the Black Lives Matter movement as a platform for them to just go out and be violent and destructive and take out their pent-up rage about the system that we live in. And then so it's like, one way or another, the hating is not going to be the solution. Acting out in violence is not going to be the solution. And so this song's about the solution, I guess.
Yeah, well, let's play it. And Lauren just asked if we're in the bus right now. We're not in the bus, and actually It's parked.
Parked right in the driveway.
Yeah, it's
right
parked
now.
out in the driveway, and we've been working on it every day. And we want to do a walkthrough of the bus. I guess, the way things are set up right now, we can't do that, but it's getting close. We're trying to move into it by August, and it'll still not be done when we move into it, but we just, really need to.
Yeah, we've lived in unfinished houses before.
Yeah.
Yeah. The song's called Believe.
You can start.
Today another son became a martyr beneath the knee of a sworn protector. The spark has set the whole world afire. Tomorrow we lose another son or daughter. Now a flower lives and dies in a season. Not one of us has any honest reason to accelerate a fate that is sealed. There's nothing in this world that hate can heal. Time with my mind on the news, 'cause when I do, seems to me so cold and strange, like the stories we're told are carefully controlled and designed to divide us with bias and blame, and that virus has spread to every nation, and it's shaking our very world at its foundation. But we must turn our gaze within and step into the night, and through our dark we'll find a light. Hey! But the purpose of that fear's for us to face. So as the shadows loom, we cannot be afraid. We must believe in something greater than our pain. I believe in the lessons of my mother. I believe in my sisters and my brothers, and I believe in the compassion every person has inside. It's only our fear that makes it right.
Wasn't that some ripping banjo on that?
Straight killing that banjo. Thanks, Lauren. I didn't keep it together, but
Sound pretty good to me.
my harmonies are. We'll get it together, but thanks, guys.
That's the first. That's our debut of that song.
Yeah,
so.
we're working on it.
But you are straight killing the banjo. Seriously.
Yeah, I'm getting there. Yeah, so I feel better after
talking about the issues and
yeah, and feel free to share thoughts and stories in the comments, and we'll
please do.
We'll try to read them out loud and respond. And I think now we're switching to
either Wade or
okay.
I guess might as do Wade since it's in the tuning already.
Okay. Yeah, which and your mom's been texting, and let's see, Melissa says
she loves that song because I talk about my mother.
Johnavie, you're so amazing. You inspire me so much and so often. Oh, thanks, Melissa. And then awesome. Oh my gosh, the picking was amazing.
Nice.
Oh. Wait till I actually can play it, but thank you so thank you
just
so
accept the
much.
compliments. Don't try to convince people that you're
embarrassed, but I appreciate the encouragement, and I'll keep working on it. Wade in the Water, man.
Yeah.
I didn't look up the history behind this gospel song, but
it's an old one though.
But you have a kind of a story about it that you should share, and then I'm gonna just quickly look something up too, because
it might even be here. Let me check one thing. I think it's actually in this book that we took with us across the country on our bike trip.
Oh yeah. Do they talk about like history?
I don't think they do, but
okay.
I think, but it's. Let's see where.
Yeah.
Where is it? Title index. Woo, there's a lot of titles. There's not a lot of W's on though, but this is one that we. Wade in the Water. There we go. 63. Yeah, so this is one that when we were on our cross-country bike trip, we...
Oh, this is also 1900s.
Yeah, this is very old as well. I guess, yeah.
Wade in the Water. It's the name of a spiritual first published in New Jubilee songs as sung by the Fisk Jubilee Singers. It's associated with the songs of the Underground Railroad.
So before the abolition of slavery, the song has been around. And but this one was one that we learned and arranged and rewrote some lyrics for when we were on our bike trip and we're just going through some hard, emotionally challenging times, and it was and then we were just feeling this song. I jammed with this homeless guy in Baltimore one day, and then I was like, man, I really like that chord progression he was playing. So we took that chord progression, and then we were watching The Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith, and there was this one scene where he's like, kind of his rock bottom, and he's in church, and there was a gospel choir singing, and it was such a powerful scene, and it really, and obviously his rock bottom was way harder than ours. We were just, tired, and it was raining, and we were broke, and we were on a bus or on a boat, kind of seasick, because that's where we were.
Yeah, we were
sleeping
staying in someone's boat.
Yeah, and it was pouring rain, and then somehow Wade in the Water just came to us as, I've always loved that song, and so we listened to different versions of it, and we're like, why don't we take the chords that I learned off that hobo and then do a version like that? And then we looked up the words, and they were all very the choruses were all very biblical, or the verses were all very biblical, and we're like, why don't we make these a little more secular? Just make it up. We didn't say that at the time, but it was how can we make this more universal, not not
specifically biblical.
Yeah, not specifically about Moses. And
this is really interesting. An example. So, in the book Pathways to Freedom, Maryland and the Underground Railroad, the book explains how Harriet Tubman used the song Wade in the Water to tell escaping slaves to get off the trail Sorry, you read it.
Ooh. To tell escaping slaves to get off the trail and into the water to make sure that the dogs employed by slavers lost their trail.
So wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water.
Yeah.
Whew, sorry.
Yeah, so I didn't know that. But the song originally, you know, it's talking about when the Jews escaped from Egypt and Moses led them to the Red Sea, and so Pharaoh and his whole army are just like trying to ride them down with chariots and whatever, and all Moses's folks had to step into the water first, as I understand it, before God actually parted the sea and made a pathway for them. So they had to start walking into the ocean just with the faith that they were going to be saved and faith in a higher power. And so the song, so for us, you know, at the time it was like this idea of, you know, you just got to have faith in the goodness of people and faith in a higher power to guide us and protect us on our bicycle trip, you know, when we're broke and scared and all that stuff. And so we took the song and reworked it so that it felt right for us, and we've been playing it for years. And I don't know if I should go in. Should we tell the other story?
I know we have this.
Another story.
I feel bad that we're talking so much, but we just.
Yeah, y'all. Should we cut down on the chatter, or should we keep telling stories and talking about these different issues?
Well, real quick. So Mick says, "Smooth Banjo-Geddon," and then he says, "My saddest thought about what I'm seeing is that so many of the haters say on one hand, not everyone's equal, but say praise God on the other hand." Yeah. I'm just
tomfoolery. It's
goddamn
like, tomfoolery.
First of all, Jesus was black, or he was dark-skinned.
He was Middle Eastern.
He's Middle Eastern, and it's like
so dumb.
And if anyone who's Christian thinks that discriminating against other people and being unkind to each other has anything to do with being Christian, it's just baffles me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I guess I am just going to tell a quick story. So last year when we were on tour, we played this song it's kind of one of our hits. Like, people love to sing along with it. And someone in one venue, Brian Dorn, our friend and venue owner, posted a video of us playing it at his venue. And then the next day, someone reposted the video on his wall and said, basically, I can't remember exactly what he said, but he just like, he was a white guy.
Here's more white people like
appropriating
black culture. Yeah.
And so he posted it to criticize us, and it was interesting. And on one hand, you know, I reached out and had a conversation with him and asked him more about his perspective, because I was like, never occurred to me that this was like, you know, like, for me, music transcends color, creed, and everything else. It's like, when I'm singing a song, I don't think about the color of my skin, because I'm just like, you know, just channeling the spirit. And so in a way, this song, singing a song like this, feels like I'm honoring and connecting with that, with the plight of the people that it's about and the people who sang it. And I'm getting emotional now too.
I know.
And just feel like can put myself in someone's shoes who I might not be able to normally. And so I was a little put off by his comment, but I mean, you know, and I reached out, I'm like, okay, that's interesting perspective. That didn't stop us from playing it.
Well, and also, if he had been an African American person, I would have been like, oh, please explain to me why you feel this way. Like, but he's
I'm just like, your opinion doesn't count any more than mine does.
Yeah.
You know, dude. And then, so the very next day, we played in Baltimore again, actually, where we first wrote this song. We played at a venue there, and we did a 2-night thing, and the second night, this all-black biker gang came in, and we're like the only people there hanging out, and we sang this song, and they started singing along with us, and they loved it, or like we thought they loved it, and then we went and talked to them afterwards, and one of the members.
Well, I think I went over to the bar to get a drink, and then they were saying, "Oh, great music!" And so we were just kind of talking, and And one guy asked us if we knew how to play wagon wheel.
Yeah. His name was Big Dog.
His name was Big Dog, and he's like covered in tattoos, rings, chains, leather jacket.
Yeah.
And he's asked if we knew how to play wagon wheel, and I was like, well, Addison can kind of, figure
I know
out
how
the
to play
chords
everything,
for anything. And I was like, I was like, I don't even actually know all the words. Do you want to come up on stage and sing it? And he's like, yeah, sure. So he came up and sang Wagon Wheel while we backed him up and sang harmonies with him, and he did a great job.
Yeah.
And then we were chatting with him.
Asked him, like, as an African American, were you offended by us playing Wade in the Water? Was that cultural appropriation? And then he said, not at all. He loves that song, and he was able to connect with us and to our music because we played that song. And
he said the same thing about, music as a universal language. It's a language of the heart. That's what he said.
That's what he said, yeah.
Yeah, he was very...
he was eloquent, yeah.
Eloquent, yeah.
That guy, it was an Easter egg. I love that guy.
Yeah. Yeah,
Big Dog. I hope we meet him again someday.
Yeah. So that was a really beautiful experience, and kind of just seemed synchronicity that we had this encounter with this, hate kind of angry, unhappy white guy, and then have this beautiful experience with this African American man who's like totally loving and open and just gets on stage and sings beautifully.
Sings Wagon Wheel, yeah.
Yeah.
Of where then that kind of flipped the whole thing, because then, it's like it completely debunked Mr. Cultural Appropriations, because he's just like, oh no, like here's.
And he knew all the words.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know all
and
the
he
words.
Loved it. And that's like the rock me mama like a wagon wheel. It's like the most country sound, like the whitest song you can imagine. So So anyway.
So.
A couple of stories, but here we go. Wade in the Water, and we love this song.
This one's for Big Dog.
Yeah, this one's for Big Dog. Dog too, apparently. He loves the harmonica. That's right.
Well, who's that yonder dressed in black? Wade in the water. It must be the children that God took back. Wade in the water.
Who's that yonder dressed in blue? Wade in the water. Must be the children who speak the truth. Wade in the water.
Come on and wade in the water. Wade in the water. Children, wade in the water. Well, God's gonna trouble the water. You know that God's gonna trouble the water. Well, who's that yonder dressed in gold? Wade in the water. It must be the children that sold their souls. Wade in the water.
Who's that yonder dressed in green? Wade in the water. It must be the children who live in peace. Wade in the water.
Come on and wade in the water. Wade in the water. Children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. You know that God's gonna trouble the water. Yeah.
Who's that yonder dressed in white? Wade in the water. It must be the children who've seen the light. Wade in the water.
Well, you don't think I'll be redeemed? Wade in the water, just to see that Holy Spirit shining down on me. Wade in the water, come trouble the water.
God's gonna
children.
trouble the water. God's gonna trouble the water. God's gonna trouble the water.
God's gonna trouble.
God's gonna trouble the water.
Yeah.
Tina says no apologies for caring.
Good. Y'all are so quotable. I
I
like this. I
know.
like this chat thing because everyone's like, 140 characters of inspiration. It's got
Yeah.
this. Yeah, everyone's so good.
Yep.
Thanks, y'all.
I was gonna say something. Oh yeah. So in the chat thread, Senorita Awesome. You can see her. That's Lauren.
Yeah.
You should check out her
Yeah,
music.
click through to
She's
on her
awesome.
name there, and I'm assuming she's got a YouTube channel. Lauren,
I'm
you got a
ass-
YouTube channel?
I don't know if she's still on the chat, but I think you can click on her
face.
profile there and
Put user in timeout.
No.
That's funny. Well, or you just search Senorita Awesome as it appears there.
Yeah.
You
Anyway,
can just copy and paste it. But yeah, check her out.
check out her music.
yeah.
We've played shows with her and
Yeah.
her brother
I can't even
Giorgio
remember
before.
how. Oh, we first met in Albany on our very first tour we ever went on. Back before our bike tour. Yeah, we met her and her brother Giorgio, and they're both phenomenal musicians. They do separate things. They play together. But we played. Yeah, we got our very first tour ever. So man, it was.
We were trying to play. We were on tour and we showed up at this cafe to play a show.
Oh, they double booked us.
And there was the guy that had booked the show with us wasn't even there. Nobody even knew that we were playing a show. And then Giorgio and Lauren show up, and they were also
Same deal. Yeah.
supposed to be playing a show. So we'd been double booked together, and the person that was in charge wasn't even there.
Yeah.
So we're just like, all right, we'll just do
Hell
a show
with it, yeah.
together.
Yeah, and we
So-
played a rockin' show.
Yeah, so we just
Yeah, and then we've
Took
stayed in touch
turns.
ever since, and then got to and then Giorgio set up a show for us in Mobile, right?
Oh, yeah.
in Mobile on our last tour last year.
Yeah.
So we got to play with them again, and and then in between they drove all the way from Alabama in Georgia, I believe, separately. You'll have to remind me if that's right or whatever. But they drove down to Austin and played a show with us there. And
Well, because
that
I
was
think
great.
Lauren or one of them was in Athens, Georgia,
Yeah.
and then the other ones. But anyway, so yeah, they drove to Austin and played a show with us there, and then most recently we saw them on our Chickadee release tour.
Yeah, so we've played
Played
with
a show
them.
with them.
We've played a few shows with them over the last 8 years, and 8 years.
Yeah, check them out.
Yeah, they're
Senorita
awesome.
and
And
Giorgio
the Interstate Life.
Ferreira.
The Interstate Life is
Oh,
Giorgio's stage name. And then we and I'm looking forward to getting on the bus so we can friggin' go visit y'all and play with you some more.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Lauren's still on here, but
Yeah, maybe we talk too much.
all right. So
This next one, you have something pulled up?
yeah,
Oh, Mama's got some good stuff to say. Thank you for sharing your stories and emotions. The world would be a better place if we all practiced being authentic. True that.
true that.
I love this. We just get to sing songs and bumble around our feelings, and then y'all have so much wisdom to share with us as a result. Inspiring, collaborative creativity.
Thanks for spending this time with us.
Yeah.
And
I'll over here.
we have a couple more songs, and I pulled up some info on Blind Willie Johnson, because this is the Soul of a Man song that we have been playing for a while now.
Yeah.
And
This guy, Blind Willie Johnson. Let's see. This song's also from is from the 1920s. He recorded all his stuff between 1927 and 1930. and he was just had a sweet, beastly, gritty voice. I love his voice.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and he was a street performer and a preacher, and had but he was kind of undiscovered for a long time. I think no one even heard his music really until after he died. Yeah, the revival of interest in his music was in the 1960s.
But I thought, when was he living? What was his lifeline?
Biography, let's see. He was born in 1897.
Oh, okay.
And
so yeah.
he died in never mind. And he died in he played cigar box guitar. Yeah, he started playing cigar box guitar when he was 5. He was it's uncertain how he lost his sight, but it's generally agreed by most biographers that he was blinded by his stepmother when he was 7 years old. Ooh, that's messed up.
Dang.
Let's see. Oh yeah, she splashed him with some. He went blind the same way. Sounds like that Ray Charles did.
Yeah,
Some lye
I
water. Yeah, got
Wow.
splashed in his face. Although there's other stories saying that he stared into a solar eclipse in 1905, and
That's
so
probably not true.
that one's
but
kind of epic. But
otherwise, Trump would also be blind.
yeah, let's see. I'm trying to find. Let's see.
But it sounds like he
Recording sessions in the 27s
had
or
about
the
5
30s.
recording sessions in his life, and
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like they were really like discovered or distributed until after he died.
Yeah.
And who sings with him on that song?
I think his first wife.
Yeah, because if you listen to the original recording of Soul of a Man, you can hear a woman's voice. And she actually, I think she sings the first line.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I can't remember what her name is, but I think, yeah, it was one of his wives.
Yeah. But so this song's been around for almost 100 years at this point. And he died in 1945. And so the world didn't really know any of his music until 15 or 20 years after his death. And he died poor and unknown. But then I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, Legacy, yeah, it was revived in the 60s. And I think actually his Led Zeppelin covered his songs, Clapton covered his songs. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, this song we're about, this is cool. In 1977, Carl Sagan and a team of researchers were tasked with collecting a representation of Earth and the human experience for sending on the Voyager probe to other life forms in the universe. Among the 27 songs selected for the Voyager Golden Record, Dark Was the Night, Cold Was the Ground was chosen by NASA. It wasn't this song, but one of Blind Willie Johnson's songs is one of the few songs put on a golden vinyl, blasted into space, that's still just shooting out into the universe for some alien to intercept. So someday, some alien's going to hear Blind Willie's music, and it's going to be awesome.
Or they
I don't know
probably
why
already
that trips
have.
me up. Yeah, they're probably bumping it right now.
Golly, Addison and I are just crying. Is anyone even still here? Oh, you guys have been silent.
Click back to the other screen, and we'll see who's still on.
Goodness gracious.
No, not that screen. The other tab, YouTube tab.
Yeah.
A display came down.
Yeah. Well, I know there are. Yeah, you guys are here. There's 8 people, I think so. All right. Soul of a Man.
Yeah,
you
we
got
only.
your harp. Yeah.
I do. Is this our last one? No, we got Rain. Okay.
Yeah, we have Soul of a Man, then we have one more after
Yeah.
this.
So this is Soul of a Man, which we did write a new verse for, as we do.
Yeah.
That's what we have to do.
So the verse that we rewrote in Soul of a Man was, some people read their book and say it's the only one that's right, but the word of man cannot describe the soul's eternal light, which I wanted to put that in there because I was raised religiously and to believe that, my
Religion was the only
my
truth.
religion was the best, that other people would eventually get to where I was, but mine was the best, and anyone that wasn't part of my religion were
destined for hell.
Well, no. They were just, they were unfortunate, and they hopefully would find my religion, at some point. And so I definitely grew up looking down on people who were not part of my group, my spiritual group. And then obviously, I left that religion when I was in my 18, 19 age, and started practicing Native American rituals and traditions and sweat lodges and vision quests and things like that, and learning about that, and then eventually found Buddhism, which I started practicing, I guess, 10 years ago, but didn't think of that as a religion, or to me, Buddhism isn't
it's more of a life philosophy.
It's a way of life, and it's a very very helpful practice for easing suffering in myself and in other people. And it's also really just a good, the people that I've met in the Buddhist community I'm very much in alignment with, and feel like I can, I've, found a way through this world, and a way to take compassionate action through Buddhism and through the lens of Buddhism. So anyway, that line, just, acknowledging that we all have, there's all these different religions, and they all have their, their book and their
doctrine,
dogma. And so many of us think that, that our way is the best way, the right way, the only
dogmatic
way.
About it.
But the fact of the matter is we can't put into words what the deeper spiritual, the essence of who we are and why we're here and what we're doing, can't be confined to any one religion or doctrine and
language.
But at the same time, I appreciate that we have all these different religions, so that, because every culture, we have culture and religions for a reason. So I'm not saying that that's bad. I just wanted to shine light on the fact that none of us are more right than anyone else.
Yeah, it's good to appreciate everyone, other people's path. But without, and appreciate our own path without then judging, or just because we feel so good in what we do doesn't mean that other people are wrong in what they do.
Yeah.
Solo Man.
I'm going to ask a question, answer if you can. Anyone here that can tell me just what about the soul of a man? I've traveled different countries, I've traveled the furthest lands, haven't found no one to tell me just what about the soul of a man. Well, I want somebody to tell me, answer if you can. I want somebody to tell me just what is the soul of a man. I saw a crowd was talking, came up just in time. Doctors and lawyers were preaching, and ain't nothing but his mind. When Christ went down to the temple, the people all stood amazed. He was teaching the lawyers and doctors how to raise a man from the grave. Well, I want somebody to tell me, answer if you can. I want somebody to tell me just what is the soul of a man.
word of man cannot describe the soul's eternal light. I said I want somebody to tell me, answer if you can. I want somebody to tell me just what is the soul of a man. I said I want somebody to tell me, answer if you can. I want somebody to tell me just what is the soul of a man. Just what is the soul of a man. What is the soul of a man? What is the soul of a man? What is the soul of a man? What is the soul of a man?
My nose is itchy.
Daddy says this is a great show. Yeah. My parents, Mom and Daddy, I love you.
I
Thanks
love
for
you
tuning
guys
in.
too, even though you're not my blood parents, but you're my other parents.
Yep. Yeah, legal parents.
You're legally my parents.
And soul parents, I
I'm
think,
your
right?
problem now.
Yep, I'll take that.
Oh, yeah, just
Yeah, I got you.
retune the
I gotta
stream.
retune all sorts of stuff.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, maybe you want to introduce this song since.
Yeah, one last song. Which is Rain, that Addison wrote,
In 2012, I think it was right after we got together.
yeah, it was one of the first Love Sprocket songs. And, it's called Rain because the chorus is, and it rains, and it rains, and it rains on you, or it rains on them. And it's, just each verse is kind of a snapshot into a scene in, different parts of the world and different things going on, and just tying it all together that whatever is happening when it rains on all of us. Yeah. And obviously, given weather patterns and everything, that's not exactly true, yeah. But the idea is, if the rivers are dirty, or if there's not enough air, or the air's dirty, like, we're all breathing the same air, we're all drinking the same water, and similarly, when there's suffering in the world, we all feel it. Yeah. Like, I think we try to shut it out and be like, well, that's not my problem, that this guy was kneeled on for 8 minutes and 45 seconds and died in front of a bunch of people, with no one stopping it, or everyone just standing by helplessly, and that's not my problem. Yeah. But it's all of our fucking problems. Yeah. and
we're all human.
We all live here together, and when there's pain, we feel it. When there's joy, we feel it. Yeah. And if there's injustice in our society, then even if we aren't personally impacted in the sense of, that we have a good job, or, we're doing fine, I think that it's impacting us, and we don't realize it. We are feeling it on some level.
Yeah. We're all, my belief, I guess, is we're all individual points of the same consciousness. Like, we're all life experiencing itself through many eyes, many brains and bodies. And so if the more people are suffering in the world, whether or not we want to block that out, it's impacting us.
It has a ripple effect.
Yeah. The energy of life is changing.
Things that we're experiencing now, it's like we're experiencing positive things that are a ripple effect of other people's actions, and we're also experiencing negative things that are a ripple effect of those actions, and we may not be able to trace it to its source, but everything is having an effect, and everything has a frequency, and it's putting out a frequency, and that's what this song is about.
Yeah, the song's about that, and just recognizing yourself in other people, and that doesn't matter what color their skin is, they're not that different from you. In fact, they're more similar than they are different. And so, yeah, that's what this. So, rain. No matter what color your skin is, the rain is touching it just like it touches everyone else's.
We still get wet when we get rained on.
Still get wet and grumpy, so.
I like being rained on sometimes.
Yep.
Sunrise hides behind a pale veil of cloud. The few who are able to glimpse it are proud. They proclaim the only direction to face, but they forget the sun does not hang in one place. Yes, they forget the sun does not hang in one place. And it rains, and it rains, it rains on them. There's a land where the peasants don't know they have kings, where the birds pay for flight by clipping their wings, and the lambs live by laws that lions decide. For the moment they're born, they're sworn to abide. Yes, the moment they're born, they're sworn to abide. And it rains, and it rains on them. There's a boy in the desert who thinks he's a man, confused by the weight of the stone in his hand. Well, he aims to avenge a dream that is torn, but the face of his foe is masked by his scorn. Yes, the face of his foe is masked by his scorn. And it rains, and it rains on them. There's a woman whose eyes hold the skies and the trees, an orphan to parents who pray overseas. Oh, she weeps as she reads to a child that's hurt, and her father's compassion lies dead in the dirt. Yes, her father's compassion lies dead in the dirt. And it rains, and it rains, it rains on them. Well, some bow to worship the man who has died. Some stand for the wisdom he spoke when alive. Well, I aim to know nothing, but this much is true. If you live under the sky, then the rain falls on you. Under the sky, then the rain falls on you. Live under the sky. Live under the sky. If you live under the sky.
Mick says butterfly effect. Every action causes ripples.
That's right.
Yep. Those are the songs we are planning on playing.
Yeah, I'm tempted to do the new one, but you don't know it yet. I mean,
well, you can do it without me.
yeah, I guess you could just try to sing harmonies or just sing along with parts if you want.
I guess I could mess with harmonies.
Yeah.
Your mom says never heard this one before. Tonight?
Rain?
Question mark. Powerful. I think you've heard it, Melissa, but
It was off our Stories and Lives, our
It's
very
not
first
on-
album.
oh, is it on that album? Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
But
not
it's
actually.
not in.
Yeah,
I feel like the songs that aren't on our 2 most recent albums are
those aren't
not as familiar to
yeah,
people.
and those ones aren't. We don't have those ones available for listening anywhere unless you got one of our handmade CDs back when we first made it.
Yeah.
We are. I think that one's gonna go on our next album, though. In fact, I think we should probably just take these songs we just did and do an EP. You know, but
How's everybody doing? Addison has another new song that
this one's
he's
brand
excited
new.
to play, so hang in there if you're fading. Yeah, we're gonna play this song and then call it a night.
Yeah.
And we really appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with us and all of your wise thoughts and comments. And patrons, we're gonna send an email out, but I'm really excited to give you guys a tour of the bus via Zoom. We'll let you know the day, but now that the bus is parked here and we're able to work on it every day, seems important to give you guys a tour. I can't wait to just be doing live streams in the bus.
Yep.
Oh man,
We're almost there.
it smells so good in there.
Yeah, yeah. It's like fresh cut.
Cedar and
freshly cut
sawdust.
wood,
And, yeah. All right, so yeah, the song is called Heartache.
Yep.
And Addison's been working on it a lot over the past week and a half.
Yeah, and this one's also about what's going on right now, but then also just about the human condition, I suppose. But inspired by what's going on.
Well, you gave the first bite from the fruits of your labor, fulfilling the contract you signed with your birth. But when if you're in the wrong place, when the fingers start pointing, you'll see just what your promise was worth. And your heart is aching. Well, the bill and the badge don't have a conscience, but their words weigh more than your own. The race was rigged from the beginning. Your ankle chained to a stone, and your heart is aching. Well, heartache, heartache, dear one, I'm here for you. Heartache, heartache, you can make it through. Well, a man in a mask with his fist up. A man in a mask hijacks your parade, elects himself your champion. Then with a fist in the air, he leads you his way. In the end, you're where you began again, and your heart is aching. With a whisper you summon a vision so fragile. He place it in a beloved hand. But the hand makes a fist and breaks your glass castle. And though you try, you can't understand why. And your heart is aching. Well, heartache, heartache, dear one, I'm here for you. Heartache, heartache, you can make it through. In your heart are three jewels offering refuge. When you've lost the key to your song, your own highest nature, the wisdom of ages, and noble friends to help you along the way. So with your feet on the path, your eyes on the distance, two blackbirds take to the sky. And in this moment your vessel is empty, but for the joy of being alive, all the love of being alive. And there's no more heartache. No, there's no more heartache. Oh, there's no more heartache. There's no more heartache. Heartache.
That's the first time Jonathan's ever sang harmonies on that.
Pretty bad.
That sound, you nailed the end part though.
Listen too quick, closely.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Bob says, "Whoa, magic bus." Mick says, "Bus tour, bus tour, bus tour." Bob says, "Can't wait for my first ride in the magic bus." Mick says, "Good song. Nearly lunchtime for me." Bob says, "I really like this song."
Awesome. Good.
Have a good lunch, Mick.
Yeah. Thanks, y'all. Oh.
Chew.
What's Mama
Remember
say?
to chew 50 times with
Clap,
every
clap,
bite.
clap. 50
Yeah,
times.
Addison's been working on the song a lot, and I always say like that Addison wrote the song, and he did, but there's always the Johnavy.
Yeah, no, this
the
was.
Johnavy. I'm like, well, I wouldn't say it like that. Or,
No, it's
well.
collaborative. Like
I'm just.
two of the verses are basically Johnavy wrote the first version, and then I adapted it a little bit to fit more with the vibe. But then, yeah. So no, we co-wrote it.
Well, it's nice to have Addison. He'll be very pumped up and inspired, and just be like riffing on a song, and then I can just be opinionated and be like, no, you should say it this way. No, use that word. No, what this law. And, and get songwriting credits for being opinionated.
Yeah. Yeah, you added to it. Johnavy helps with the direction of songs. Definitely. No, I feel like that's how we collaborate, because I'll be like, on your songs, I'll help with chord progressions, or like, what if we add this kind of thing in there? And then, like, so I'm almost like, I help flesh out Jonavy's songs on the technical and like arrangement side, and then Jonavy helps me get clarity on lyrics a lot. So yeah.
Addison's really
Teamwork.
good at Mick says yes, Mom. He's really good at rhyme schemes, and so I sometimes just have to remind him, what are you trying to say? Figure out what your message is first, and then you can worry about rhyming later. But he's really good at those details. Rhyming details.
And that one was funny because Genevieve was in kind of grumpy one of those days, and I had all these verses, and she was just like, I want to write songs that are less literal and more like metaphor and stuff. And I was like, okay. So then I redid all my verses I had for the most part and turned them all into like, archetypal. I like that. It's like a song like that in a song like Rain both have this kind of, it's almost like like tarot cards of where I know what my meaning was behind the words, but I want people to be able to hear their own thing and have it reflect whatever part of their soul and their psychology that they need to hear in it.
Yeah, to not be so specific that if someone can't relate, they're just like, huh? But just poetic and metaphorical enough that you know what you mean, but for someone else, they can take that and it can mean something for them that's meaningful.
Yeah. But then we bring it back to a nice catchy chorus of where it's just straight up heartache, heartache. Dear one, I'm here for you. Heartache, heartache. You can make it through.
Dear one, I am here for you is
that's from Thai.
Thich Nhat Hanh has a book called True Love, and one of the steps of reconciliation and basically being able to express to someone that you care about them and that you're trying to resolve conflict is, I'm here for you. And dear one, I am here for you. And so when Addison was writing, I'm like, ooh, Thich Nhat Hanh. So for anyone that hasn't fallen over dead with boredom, no, sorry, I shouldn't be so
yin
self-deprecating.
And the yang. Yeah, that's right, Bob.
But so anyone that's still here, I just want to tell you guys about getting the bus from our friend Jake's house to the cabin, which is only like a 20-minute drive.
Took 4 days. It
took 4 days because... No, I think it took 3 days, right? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Because something that you probably know, Bob, so you should have told me.
Dang it, Bob.
This is all your fault. I didn't know that double-wheeled vehicles, in other words, is that the proper term for it? Where you've got 4 wheels in the back?
On the back axle, yes.
Yeah, whatever that's called. If you leave it parked for, I don't know.
And with the type of air brakes.
Air brakes. Yeah. But it's, maybe it's the combination of air brakes and then it's the double wheels. But apparently if you leave it parked for a month or two in wintertime or wet weather or cold weather or whatever, the brakes will rust and you cannot move the bus. I didn't know that, so we moved the bus at the beginning of the winter, and then at some point in the dead of winter we did move it a little bit, but there's 3 to 5 feet of snow through the entire winter here, so there's a point where we could not have moved the bus even if we needed to. So, but apparently if you don't drive it and work the brakes, heat the brakes up, it will rust. And so when we
lock the wheels in place. Yeah,
last week Wednesday we went in there, got the whole thing packed up, ready
got the
to bring
seat
it
installed
over,
and
installed
everything.
The new driver's seat, and not new, but new
for us.
For us, and and then the bus just would not go. It was revving and starting up again, and it started up fine, and the engine sounded strong, and it felt like it wanted to go, but it just wouldn't go, and so then. Many hundreds of YouTube videos and schooly chat forums later.
Banging on them with sledgehammers.
And talking to a trucker, this guy that owns a trucking company here, and then a mechanic here. Then we did finally get the bus unstuck, but it literally just was my dad and I underneath the bus, banging on the brakes with hammers, using a pry bar between the shoe and the wheel, or the plate that the shoe presses on to slow you down. And then we learned how to adjust the S-cam. We found this S-cam tool, and we're turning it and trying to get the brakes to release that way. We sprayed it with brake cleaning fluid that we really should have done that day
gallons
one.
of them, yeah.
We used 2 cans of it. And
Yeah.
we really should have done that on day one, but it took us till Friday, and then we finally, sprayed the whole thing with brake cleaning fluid and kept banging on it, and then kept like putting the bus in drive, putting it in reverse, drive reverse,
Just like
and getting
rocking it until
rock.
it could just break free.
And then at some point it like went crack and like went into reverse, and we're like, oh my gosh!
Yeah, and then Johnny
like
ran over her
3
dad, and it was
days.
terrible. No, just kidding.
Now my dad's in the hospital.
Yeah.
3 days. So just driving at the 20 minutes from Jake's house to here was like the most, I just felt so jubilant.
Yeah.
And I feel so comfortable driving the bus now. It's just
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah. It's a relief to like be the biggest vehicle on the road.
Yeah, it's so fun to be driving and people are just like going way out of their way to get out of the way. And
Yeah.
I'm like, that's right.
No one's gonna like honk at you. No one's gonna like.
No one tries to make you go faster. Or do
Yeah,
something
no
you
one's
don't
gonna
wanna
tailgate
do.
you because you can't even see them, and like
Yeah.
people will just pass you and they're like, no, I feel like you can't be the victim of road rage in the same way, the object of road rage in the same way, because it's just like the
You're a
flea's
big
not mad
fear.
at the dog.
Yeah. But anyway, so now the bus is parked on our driveway, and it's very exciting.
Yep.
And our battery on our computer's about to die. So all of that being said, we love you guys. Thanks for doing this with us. I think it's important that we get together and talk about these things.
Yeah.
And patrons, look for a message about
The bus tour. Yeah, we're going to do it this weekend, I think. So
yeah.
we will send y'all, we'll post on Patreon, send an email, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Rock and roll.
Good night, everybody. And good day, Mick.
Yeah, good day, Mick. Enjoy your lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Bye. Are we sure? Yes, I'm sure.